The government of Enugu State, through the National Emergency Management Agency, has donated relief materials worth over 80 million to victims of the 2022 flood and other disasters across the affected local government areas in the state, stressing that the relief materials would not only serve as succor but would also help the affected persons to settle down by reactivating their means of livelihood. Presenting the items to the state governor, Dr. Peter Mbah, at the Government House Enugu State on Monday, the Director General of NEMA, Mustapha Ahmed Habib, who was represented by the Zonal Coordinator of NEMA, Ngozi Echeazu, through the senior management staff of the agency, Amaka Chidi Aroh, stated that the relief intervention by the federal government through NEMA is not a compensation, but rather a fulfilment of the federal government's responsibility to support the welfare and well-being of Nigerian citizens affected by the disaster wherever they live, especially when the capacity of their state and local government authorities are exceeded. Upon the escalation of the 2022 flood disaster, the National Emergency Management Agency Southeast Zonal Office carried out damage need assessment in 6 major selected local government areas in Enugu State, including Enugu South, Enugu East, Nkanu East, Awgu, Udenu and Uzo-Uwani, to determine the level of the flood disaster damage costs, where needs of the affected communities and appropriate recommendations were made in line with the agency's mandates to ensure that all affected communities were provided with necessary short, medium, and long-term support to enable them recover from the disaster.
In line with the agency mandate to ensure that all affected communities were provided with necessary short, medium, and long-term support to enable them recover from the disaster. It is important to remind all of us here present that this relief intervention by the federal government through NEMA is not a compensation, but rather a fulfillment of the federal government's responsibility to support the welfare and well-being of Nigerian citizens wherever they live, especially when the capacity of their state and local government authorities are exceeded. The relief items, including livelihood materials, we are distributing today to the affected persons or communities, are expected to help the affected stand on their feet and return to normal life.
The acting head, Enugu State Emergency Management Agency (SEMA), Mrs. Chinaza Mbah, said that the items presented were for the 2022 flood victims. She disclosed that a lot of communities were affected, houses and farmlands destroyed, and some lost their lives in the 2022 flood disaster. Chinasa assured that the items would complement the ones already provided by the state government and would be properly distributed to make sure they get to the affected victims. SEMA will monitor the distribution, she said.
Actually, we've taken some materials both from state government and from the National Emergency Management Agency to those affected persons. But then it's still not yet enough because majority of them lost most of their means of livelihood. With this coming, at least there'll be food on the table of the people for some time. And there'll be clothing because some people, when their houses are swept off, even their clothing and everything are damaged. Some people's buildings collapsed. So the building materials will help them also to rebuild those houses, at least patch some or put some in order, even though it may not be enough for them to build a house. Not getting to the people is never done in Enugu State. Ever since SEMA started, we're always on the ground. When it occurs, we're always on the ground for rescue. For those that are trapped, we're always on the ground to have on-the-spot assessment.
The state governor, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Professor Chidebere Onya, commended NEMA for its partnership with Enugu State government, which had always yielded positive results and will be a continuous collaboration. Governor Mbah disclosed that the data from NEMA had also assisted the state government in its planning. He added that the support will help in rebuilding the victims' economic base. He expressed confidence in the credibility of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria (ALGON) Enugu State, led by Nkanu East Local Government Chairman, Ikechukwu Ede, assuring that the items will be properly distributed to the affected persons.
The government of Enugu State appreciates this collaboration and this partnership in other areas outside what you have come here to do today. They are part of our flood mitigation team, the task force. NEMA is at the forefront of that. The data from NEMA always helps us even in our preparation. So we continue to partner with you in different aspects. The people that are affected that are going to receive this are families. These are people that have suffered, significant setback in their economic base. And like the SEMA head pointed out, some of them have lost their lives. But at least for those that are alive and the families, this support here is going to go a long way in rebuilding their economic base.
Receiving the items from SEMA, the chairman of Enugu East local government, and who doubles as the ALGON Chairman in Enugu State, said that they will go to the local government areas and set up a committee for the distributions of the materials to the affected persons, which, according to him, will be made up of stakeholders, priests, who will go to the different communities and reach out to the affected persons.
I am promising everybody, the state government, the NEMA and the SEMA, that these items will be equitably distributed. There will be transparency, there will be accountability. It's not meant for us, it's a relief material. It will be evenly distributed and it will get to the downtrodden. That is my promise to everybody.
I didn't find it easy. I've been struggling, but I'm happy for this relief material that NEMA have given to. It is not easy it's not only one person. It have affected many people and it's not easy for them. Somebody that have cultivated and flood affected it and took all of them.
To assuage the loss of and to cushion the effect of their loss.
So we're handing it over to the local government. ALGON Chairman here representing all the local governments, and he will make sure it gets to the affected people, straight to them.